I want to tell you authoritatively that a meeting was called yesterday or thereabout to discuss this matter as concerns River State by an NPC, PPMC. They called the meeting of major marketers. They called the meeting of an NPC stations, and they called IPMAN. I know that the state chairman of IPMAN, Dr. Belengechu, attended that meeting because I called him. So the meeting, they invited the people. What
the
was
PPMC?
the report? Yes.
Yes.
So when I asked them, the IPMAN state chairman told me that the meeting was to know what they are going to do about petrol distribution in River State, and that they have enough stock of product. And I asked him, what did you say there? He said he spoke the truth. That for over how many depots we have in Lagos, only one is working. For River State, over 19 depots we have in River State.
I think about 45 in Lagos.
Only one is working. And even the one that is working epileptically. And I told him, Dr. Belengechu, as the state chairman of IPMAN, did you speak the interest? Did you explain to them what the masses were feeling? And he said he did. So I'm standing here to respond to the PPMC and NPC submission based on that meeting yesterday. People who attended that meeting told them straight that there is no sufficient product, so they should stop deceiving Nigerians. If you can call Dr. Belengechu, the state chairman of IPMAN, and ask him, he was present in that meeting. So they should stop deceiving people. There is no sufficient supply of petrol in Nigeria, especially in River State. River State, as I speak to you, there are over 19 depots in River State. Only one is working. And that one that is working, an NPC product in that depot is finished.
So what was the product in that depot? Was it supplied by the NNPC? How did they get the product?
That is what I'm saying. The NNPC supply products. And when they bring in products, they have the portion that is for them that they sell directly to retailers. And if they sell, when they were selling directly to retailers, that is when they sell 148. That is when you see DPRO. People will say DPR is not doing anything. DPR is not doing anything. PETROAN, we are telling you that we are working in partnership with DPR and they are doing something. Every product that was loaded 140 something naira from depot some time ago, DPR in partnership with River State Government, Ministry of Energy and PETROAN enforced the sale at the various filling stations at 165. And when that product was exhausted, there's nothing anybody can do about it. And even when filling stations that did not comply, DPR forced them to that one, their men on ground, and compare those chunks to 165.
So you're saying it's now a situation of selling as how you in comparison to how you bought it, because from what you've explained, it means when it was sold at 148 lifted at 148 from depots, people had to sell at 165.
Yes,
so
and
now,
those that did not sell, because at the same time when an NPC was selling at that 148, some private depots were selling at 180 something. So those that they bought at that 148, they attempted to go and sell 200. DPR stood down there in partnership with PETROAN, and they enforced the sale of that. That's why you see some filling stations, there was long queue in some filling stations. Those are the stations that bought those few products from an NPC directly. And that means DPR was there, PETROAN was there to enforce those sales.
The NPC is the sole importer of this product.
Yes.
So the private depots, where do they get it from?
Well, when they bring in these products, they ship their own. When the ship comes, the ship gets to stock in Lagos. An NPC takes their own portion from there to the various depots, maybe Port Harcourt or Calabar. Then they sell some to private depot owners.
At what price?
At whatever price they agree. I think it's about 130 something or thereabout, or 120 something. I'm not very sure.
So the NNPC takes some to their own stations and sell the remaining to private
stations. Then the private depot pay for the cost of moving this product from the far sea to the depots. And the difference of cost is quite enormous on them. And they will tell you that we cannot sell at this price because the subsidy you are paying us up to so level.
So that's my question. What's the subsidy doing with transporting?
The subsidy is a fraud. Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, particularly River State, to the best of our eyes, do not see what the subsidy is doing for us. We do not see what it's doing for the masses. We do not see what it's doing for the people. The only best thing that any government can think for the Nigerian people is to remove subsidy. Because the subsidy thing is a fraud into people's pocket that they are using to come and say they are giving people money, they are empowering people, and they take from poor.
If subsidy is removed completely, would the product be readily available and sufficient?
Well,
because the NNPC also has monopoly of import. I don't think any other private company or is allowed to import the product into the country.
We have shouted over and over before now that the permanent solution to the perennial fuel scarcity in Nigeria is for the refineries to work and for modular refineries to come on board. If you remove the subsidy, the tendency for the fuel to sell high at the initial stage will be there. Just like when GSM came, people were buying SIM cards for 20,000, 25,000 SIM card. But now, SIM card is almost free. It's given free. We have navigated from 25,000 or 20,000 cost of SIM card to zero cost. Competition, when it was only MTN, for example, it was 25,000. When Etisalat and Glo came, it was 15,000 or thereabout. But now it's free. So in competition, when you remove fuel subsidy, fuel will definitely sell at high price. But gradually, it will take shape. Competition will push it to shape. What we are suffering now, let me tell you, even the subsidy that is paid, the fuel that is being brought into through the depot, that is through the Nigerian waterways, escapes through the inland, through the interland to go to other neighboring countries. So the subsidy we are paying, Nigeria is paying subsidy for West Africa.
So in other words, we have people who are hoarding or rerouting, smuggling and redirecting this product to other areas. So, who are these individuals? Because they too will be marketers.
No, I don't think. They can be marketers. They can be businessmen. There are so many. Okay, does it mean that everybody who import good is a customs agent?
I'm not saying just marketers, because it means that whoever will be doing this must have knowledge of the industry and that sector and would have information as to how this product and how the market works.
Well, the customs will know people who are... If there is anybody that's a smuggler, whether you're smuggling crayfish or you're smuggling fuel, customs will know. So, but let's go back to where we are. The situation is very hectic. It's very hectic. There is no fuel.
I want to read out something from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA. So the DPRA said, with other relevant organizations in the oil sector, had agreed, this was in December 9, first week of December, going to the second week, agreed to end fuel scarcity across the country, and they agreed to do that in 2 days at the time after they had a closed-door meeting with the SSS. The operator said depots would work seamlessly for 24 hours daily to end petroleum queues across the country. Initially, if you remember, the blame had been put on the flood and said the flood was partly responsible for why we had the queues at that time.
And when I came here at that time, I told you that the flood was not responsible. If you check if you recorded my appearance here, I told you that the flood was not that responsible. In fact, the flood was supposed to enhance the distribution of fuel.
So are you insinuating that perhaps somebody was lying?
No, I don't see anybody was lying. I say by my own perception. You know, everybody can have different understanding.
From what was said, that was the flood was hindering, and what was said that they had a meeting and they were going to ensure that product was available. This was just a couple of weeks ago.
From the information available to them, the flood was responsible. But from my own perception and understanding, I didn't think that the flood was responsible.
So how true is this? The NMDPRA added that the NNPC Limited has imported PMS with current stock levels sufficient enough for 34 days. Now, this is just 29 days gone, and in between these 29 days, we could not say that we have sufficient product. At least we could not see. So, what is really the problem? Is somebody being economical with the truth?
The problem is clear. If there are 40-something depots in Lagos and only one depot is selling, and there are over 19 depots or thereabout in Port Harcourt and only one depot is selling, does it not point to the fact that there is no sufficient product? It's obvious now.
Okay. We'll open the phone lines and get your thoughts.
Just before you open the phone line, our great concern for PETROAN, we believe that our people deserve to be informed. We believe that people deserve to be given the truth. People should stop calling in and abusing filling station owners, abusing retailers. They have increased price. God will punish them. They have done this. They are hoarding. Yesterday, the state coordinator of DPR, Tubalabo, was going from filling station to filling station with us opening tanks to see if retail outlet owners were hoarding products. And obviously, he was very disappointed to find out that there are no stations hoarding products. And he addressed to that effect, because he said any station that he find hoarding product, he will compare them to sell. He went to at least 10 filling stations. The man is working hard. And we try to let the public know that this is what is going on. Yeah. He went to at least 10 filling stations yesterday, and he opened their tanks. And we were telling him that, believe us, when we say people don't even have money to survive. Talk less of the one to put on the ground to hoard product. For what?
Okay. Where are you getting products now? How are you sourcing for products? If there are no products and only one depot is working, where are the products coming from? Okay.
The products that you see, the little one you see, as at few days ago, came out from one. That only one depot that is loading. 2, some trucks came in from Calabar. 3, some trucks came in from Lagos. And how do they come in? You see like 3 retail outlet owners queuing up one truck. The whole Nigeria is queuing up in Lagos and in Port Harcourt, and few in Calabar right now. And so if you pay for a truck, you go to the bank, you take money and you pay for a truck. The truck stays like almost 1 week on the queue to load. And the arrangement you have with the bank is that, give me this money, I will sell it out in 1 week and I will return the money to you at so interest. And the bank will tell you that if it exceeds that 1 week, the interest will increase. And 3 persons pays for one truck, and the truck is on the queue. 1 week has passed, it has not loaded. The bank interest has accumulated. And eventually in the 2nd week, it was able to load. Now, who pays that bank interest? So the product that you're seeing, that is how they are coming up. And when one truck comes in for 3 stations, they will distribute it maybe 10,000, 15,000 or thereabouts.
The truck that came in from Calabar, where did they load from? Lagos?
1 or 2 depots. I think one depot was also loading Calabar. I think they're exhausted now, self.
Okay. So if that's still what the question I'm trying to put my head around. If there are no products, how are these few products?
That's what I'm telling you, that there are no sufficient products.
Okay. Now we have the right word. Products aren't sufficient. Yes. So you don't have enough depots.
So if let's assume that maybe 5 persons we are supposed to buy. If you have 100 sick persons, and just one doctor is attending to 106 persons, and 20 emergency cases are lying down, how many persons do you think that will survive? Before the one doctor will go around 100 sick persons and 20 emergencies, we would have lost nothing less than 10 lives. So one depot serving over 1,000 trucks, even more. Get to UTC Junction, you see what is happening. Get to the depots in the Aruma area, you see what is happening. The stretch of the line is over 3 or 4 kilometers.
Okay, let's take a few messages first on WhatsApp before we go on. This one says, okay, I bought for 360 naira this morning. This person says, I bought at 290 naira per litre at Aka Junction, Rumolumeni Warfare. This Christmas is not Christmas at all. Otis from Port Harcourt. This person said it's not a surprise that this scarcity of petrol is trending under this administration. What is the solution to this scarcity? Why is it that Nupeng is no longer threatening strike action as it pain us? It is sweet them, Akaga from airport. Which is my next question. We aren't seen protests. We're not seeing strikes. We're not seeing. Many are referring to 2014, 2015 when the price went up to as much as 19 naira, and how the various unions, organizations, all were protesting, labor inclusive, and I would also try to speak with a labor representative on the show this morning to know what labor is saying about it. We're all protesting that price, and now the concern of many people is, as that now where it's almost official. You remember, we were already buying above 165. In fact, the last time you were here, you said what is happening now is people are selling depending on how they buy, which became almost like the official thing, because you would not find, hardly you would find a station that was selling at 165.
Yesterday, the people that bought fuel yesterday from the depots, they landed it at 300 naira per litre.
That's the lifting.
Yesterday, to land
from depots.
From depot, the cost of landing this thing in their station.
300.
And a lot of persons refused to buy. And that is why you see almost all the filling stations are closed, because they can't imagine
buying at 300 and then selling at 340 or 320.
So the ones that have the mind to do so, because we tell our members, look, we are concerning ourselves. I'm a state chairman. I'm a state chairman of PETROAN. Our responsibility is to ensure that we provide PMS for Rivers people. No matter how chaotic the situation will be, if they say they are selling it 300 naira per liter, and we Rivers people, when I mean Rivers people, those of us doing business in Rivers State, and we close down our stations and say we will not buy for 300 naira, people from other states that has already queued up in the depots will buy it and take it to their states. That means a Rivers man will need to drive from here to other states to be able to buy fuel. And as a state chairman of PETROAN, I tell the members of our association, no matter what the cost of fuel is at the depot, please queue up and buy it and sell to Rivers people, so that the Rivers man will not go outside outside the state to go and look for fuel to be able to run their activities. We don't want the state to shut down. The economy of this state is not going to shut down because we don't want to buy fuel. We'll get the fuel.
When we return, we'll speak with Labour, and then we'll also hear from you, perhaps any conversations with the Commissioner.
Again, let me tell you,
the Ministry of Energy.
PETROAN
we have a short commercial.
Okay.
Time will not let us.
Thank
so
you
let's
very
just
much.
go on that commercial. We'll be back. Stay tuned. Okay, and Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. All you need to do is log on and join the conversation. Don't forget, you can also, very importantly, make your contributions on social media, or you send us a WhatsApp message 0809 030 6416. My guest is still very much with me here in the studio. He is the Rivers State Chairman of PETROAN, Francis Dimkpa. And we're asking you to tell us how you're coping with the situation at the moment, the increased price of petrol, and the scarcity that comes along with it at the moment. What is happening? Well, before the break, we're talking about what is happening with why we haven't seen protests or people coming out to share their frustration, especially the unions, like we did in 2014, 2015. Labour was active. Most of the players in the petroleum industry and various associations were also very vocal about it. What is happening this time? It's as high as 300 naira, and you can't even find the product. But it seemed like not much is being said with regards to that situation. Mr. Dimkpa, so yeah, you were about saying something before I went on the break. Meanwhile, I just need to let us know that we have the Assistant General Secretary of the NLC, Onyeka Chris, will be joining us via telephone. He's currently on the line now, joining in on the conversation. But Mr. Dimkpa, let's just get your reaction quickly to this. What's happening? We're not seeing that, that vigor we saw when the price went up the last time in 2014-15.
Well, you see, that is why we, PETROAN, as the state chairman of PETROAN, I believe that our people, we owe them sincere explanation. And we owe them appropriate information. Some of us never supported that protest in 2014. If that protest in 2014 did not go on, and we got it right in that 2014, we wouldn't be suffering what we are suffering today. I think that was the time of Goodluck Jonathan. Some of us never supported that Occupy Nigeria. It's unfortunate that we are not here to play politics, and we are not going to be play politics. As an association, we are apolitical. But today, some of us who did not support that protest, we are vindicated. That's the much I will say. If you say that Labour supported or whatever, let the Labour people speak for themselves. But as the state chairman of PETROAN, some of us did not support and did not protest in 2014.
But we had the associations go on the protest.
PETROAN did not protest. If Labour did, I think, thank God you have called the Labour person. Let him tell you the reason why they protested.
Okay, but for now, that it's at this much, and you're telling me about PETROAN saying, well, people saying they can't buy at that amount, and of course the DPR would insist.
The DPR coordinator in Rivers State, his name is Tubu Alabo. He went on to seal filling stations for selling what they call above price. And we, the members of PETROAN, we said, okay, no problem. You are doing your job. You are selling filling stations because we are able to buy product and we are selling. So in order to avoid problem, when you cannot buy to sell at 165, the best thing you do to avoid problem, because if they seal you, you are going to pay, you are going to be penalized. And you don't even have money to trade. Which one will you use to pay government fine? So you leave your filling station open, you leave your tank open, let them come and dip your tank, no product, and you are not going to buy. And that is why you see a lot of filling stations in Rivers State, they are not open.
So the protest for some of the filling stations is they cannot buy for 300 naira.
We are not protesting.
No, okay, it's not a protest, but they cannot buy for 300 naira.
Yes.
From the depots.
From the depot. How much are we going to sell? We should buy for 300 naira, as some people have bought yesterday. They cannot sell anything less than. They will add that 12 naira margin. That is what we normally take under normal circumstance. Some people who had more than that can sell 320 or 315 or whatever. Some people can say they are carrying their own to the hinterlands, so they will pay extra cost of carrying to. So you
those
see them
will sell
sell
for 340
or thereabout. Then, so who will protect them for selling above that
But that's
price?
not a question of availability against price. Well, let me get on to
So we are appealing to the DPR people to know that the more they see filling stations, the more people will not buy, and the more hardship will befall our people. And as the state chairman, we don't want the Rivers people to suffer beyond what we are suffering already. So let us buy this product at whatever price that it is and sell to our people. People need to pay, use fuel for flying boats to their village. People need to pay fuel to their places. Some people don't even have light. They will need fuel for their generators. If we, the retailers in Rivers State, refuse to buy, where will they get fuel?
So the big question now to Rivers people would be, would you be willing to buy the product at a high price if it's available? Or would you prefer don't buy at all and let's just remain like this because that price is outrageous? Well, let's get over to Labour Assistant General Secretary Chris to talk us how Labour is reacting to this and what their position is. Hello, Mr. Onyeka. You're welcome. Thank you for staying on the line for us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, brother.
Okay, just in a few minutes, tell us the position of Labour, because many have been pointing fingers at Labour saying, well, you occupied Nigeria in 2014, 2015. Look at the situation of things now, not just with petrol, but also with the price of food items and et cetera, et cetera. But we haven't heard Labour give any firm position on this matter with petrol. That has been the opinion in public. What is Labour's position on the increase on petrol, and are we going to see some strong stance taken by the union?
Fortunately, the position of the Nigerian Labour Congress has been made public and has also been demonstrated by the President of Congress, Comrade Ali Bawaba, in several fora since the destruction of governance of the downstream sector began to happen. What is happening in the downstream sector of the petroleum industry is a manifestation of the deep rot in governance generally in Nigeria. The abandonment of governance is an expression of the fact that we have a runaway government that is no longer interested in protecting the interests and the desires of Nigerians, and that is very clear. We have written letters as this impunity began to happen. Because what you find out is that the price of petrol is no longer being controlled by anybody. The official price remains at 165, but people are selling whatever rate they like, which means that there is nobody that is governing or controlling the process. And that is why when I heard my brother there talk about people going to buy at whatever price, I cried. That is the situation we have found ourselves. The unfortunate situation we have found ourselves in as a people and as a nation.
Mr. Onyeka, so the ultimate question now is, should Nigerians look at, or would the Labour Union consider another Occupy Nigeria like it happened in 2014 with the threat to remove subsidy and the increase that followed?
The Nigerian Labour Congress, my brother, fortunately the Nigerian Labour Congress and the TUC have already taken a decision. And we have already told Nigerians that we have lost faith with the political class, with the people who are leading us currently. That is why we have decided that instead of in the streets, we should go out there and look for platforms to actually control the corridors of power, where policies are made, so that we can make policies that will make Nigeria better. Nigerian Labour Congress, in conjunction with the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, have therefore given Nigerians Labour Party. That is why we gave Nigerians Labour Party and brought in Peter to lead the fight. The struggle you see that is going on politically in this electionary campaign is part of our decision to ensure that Nigerians get a better deal, that Nigerians are in control of their lives.
Okay.
Nigerians are the ones that are going to make the policy. That is why you see Labour Party and all that is going on. So we have given Nigerians Labour Party. It is left for Nigerians to actually join us in the mobilization, and we're happy that Nigerians have joined us en masse in this mobilization to ensure that we remove those that are actually holding us at the neck, so that we will be free come 2023, so that we can make the right decision concerning the petroleum sector. And that is why I urge Nigerians to insist on voting, to insist, on collection of their PVC, to insist that they vote right come 2023, so that we can remove once and for all the hands of these people that are taking away our bread.
All right, Mr. Onyeka, thank you very much. We know you have a very busy busy day ahead of you. But thank you for making our time to be part of the show this morning. Well, you have heard there from the Assistant Secretary General of the National Labour Congress. And that's what he had to say. Well, this time, the Labour is taking a different approach. We might not come out to occupy Nigeria like we did in 2014-15, but we are looking at a different approach, which means we go to the polls. That's a new way. And he says that's the reason why they're solidly behind the Labour Party. Okay, before we get back to our guest in the studio, let's hear from you who's listening. The phone number to call 070-0923-0923. Again, 070-0923-0923. That's the number to call to be a part of the conversation. It's now a question of, are you willing to buy the product at an expensive price, but you just want it to be available? Or are you saying it is too expensive, we are not buying, let nobody sell?
Before you take those calls, let me just a little bit follow up on what the Labour Congress Secretary said. You see, in PETROAN, I would have spoken the way he's speaking, but we are not political. We are apolitical. But what we tell our members in this situation is that nobody should look at political party any longer. People should look at individuals. Because Labour occupied Nigeria in 2014. Some of us said, don't occupy. Some persons today who are saying, vote for me, we are in the forefront of occupying Nigeria. And today, those of us who said, don't occupy, we are vindicated. So that is why we join Labour to say, some of them is not a party. It's a matter who in every locality can do and what. You take your PVC and vote for that person. We are no longer interested in bandwagon voting, because you are voting party A from councillor. You vote party A till the presidential. No. Look at the individuals. And in assembly, who is the individual in your locality that can represent you well? In governorship, who is the individual in your locality, in your area that can represent you well? In presidency, who is the individual? People should look at individuals, not party.
Okay, well said. Mustafa from Omagwa is on the line. Hello, Mustafa. Good morning.
Following up your program, I don't really know the situation in this country. Your guest in the studio there, I can hear him, hear his view also, but I think there are still some undertones, like there are still some undertones to what he's saying that are not really, that have not been really clear to Nigeria. Like, because what the Labour man just said now, what he just said now is having a different approach or two. The Labour man is trying to point at what is happening, like that they are looking out for a way now to actually institute a new government or two, and he's not even agreeing with the person in this deal. So I think there's an undertone with this increment or two. I think it's about the festive thing going on around this religious activities also. But I myself will not partake in that also. But I wonder why it should always occur during the end of year. Why should there always be an increment of price also? It's not very clear. I think.
But really, I think the price of petrol had been up even before the end of the year. But I think it's now worse. But it was up already. Thank you, Mustafa, by the way. And another quick correction. I think the Occupy protest was in 2012. Was it not in 2012, the Occupy Nigeria protest?
It was under Goodluck Jonathan.
But I know that there was another protest that came around 2014 where we had different unions in the oil sector protesting the increase in the price of petrol at the time. I think that was around 2013-14. This is Egosa from Liberty. Egosa Liberty, thank you very much. This one says, please, I can't wrap my head around it. Why is there short supplies from the depot? Well, maybe we'll get the people from the depot to explain to us. But then it's almost very difficult. We'll keep trying. If you say there's no sufficient product, but almost all stations in my area between Ikotek, Bani and Aba is dispensing fuel, but at a high price, isn't station supposed to be shut if there are no sufficient product? Okay, I think you didn't hear him explain, but our guest also explained here that the stations that you see selling are the ones that chose to buy at 300 naira a litre from depots. So those ones are selling for 300 and something. Some of them that might have bought for 280 naira might be selling for 300 naira. Those are the ones that decided to buy at that price from the depots. Exactly. But he says most of the filling stations refused to buy because the price was very high and they
cover their interest
margin. And because if they buy at 280 and want to sell to you at 300, you might not be happy about it. So that's where we are, which brings us to the question, why are the depots selling at that price? That's the ultimate question. I don't know if that answer has been given to PETROAN or Ipman or any other anybody involved. But why are depots selling above the price? Because depots should be selling from 148.
I just explained that. I explained that. I told you that before I started, I responded to your call by the Minister for Transport, Minister for Petroleum.
Yes.
You know, I started there when I told you that PPMC just had a meeting with some stakeholders. I told you that meeting that major marketers were there and NPC stations were there, and the state chairman, Dr. Belengechu of Ipman, was also there. And that is the question. And the fact is that the NMPC product in the depots, especially in the depot in Rivers State, for example, has finished. And also in the depot in Lagos, NMPC product has finished. The remaining little product is the one that the private depot themselves paid the cost of moving from high C to their locations and are selling it with that cost in perspective.
So why is the NMPC not importing the product?
They have imported another one, but the vessel is not yet on ground.
Okay, Muriel.
So it's when the vessel comes on ground that this thing will be ameliorated a little bit.
All right, let's go to Okrika. Muriel is on the line. Good morning.
Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you, Efemi. Good morning.
Morning.
You see, Efemi, this is the most difficult time to become a Nigerian. I bought fuel at 300 naira yesterday, and it's not just the buying of the 300. It's at the pumps. We don't know if they some of them alter their pumps. I bought fuel. I managed to buy fuel 4,000. It was as if I bought for 1,500. So I think I just bought 1,500 and fuel. It was so annoying. It was as if I should cry. It was so painful. And now they are telling us, they are not even giving us any definite reason why it's happening. The depots are selling at a higher price. Is it that they imported it higher? Is it that the export rate has increased?
Yes, you asked.
And the most annoying part is that the Minister of Finance is not even addressing the nation. Buhari, our president, is the Minister of Finance. He cannot
Minister of
Petroleum.
Hello, Muriel.
He's not telling us that, okay, instead of it was okay, let me just sit and give this to a professional to handle. He's there sitting. He's telling us he can't wait to leave. That when he leaves, he's just telling us it. Now, the suffering is too much, you hear me? I want the labor to occupy somewhere. They should try and occupy somewhere. We're not going to wait till 2003. It's too far. They should go out and occupy somewhere and make the president aware that this is what is happening. If they sit down and just ask us to wait, it's as if the president will relax. They should go and occupy Abuja.
Mariam, do you have your PVC?
All right, Miriam.
Do you have your PVC?
Thank you.
Mariam, do you have your PVC?
Oh, she already hung up. Nigeria Info, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
Welcome.
Yes, Obed Kima, from Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Yes, Andrew, I think the man in your studio cannot explicate the marketer from what is happening right now. Andrew,
Sorry, we take exception to that abuse on the air. The marketers are not dubious. Those,
okay, yes.
protect us. You have to protect us.
We understand.
We are supposed to be protected.
But then
the use of language must be curtailed.
Okay, let's get your reason why. Chima, just mind your language, but tell us why you think marketers should be blamed.
Andrew, yes. Andrew, we are not getting value on what we are paying for Bacana Cloud. Even though you are paying at 300 naira, why must you adjust your meter to do people? That is the problem we are facing. You understand?
Okay.
So you cannot come out to the city and economic marketers on what we are passing through. In a fact that we know that this leader is going to pay Nigerians. And this God has called our Nigerians. Please, we must know who to vote in 2023. It's no longer that business as usual. Nigeria must rise up and to know what is going to happen and what they're going to do. Nobody should control us this time around.
All right, thank you, Obed. Oh, okay.
Chima,
you could feel the anger.
I empathize. I understand your anger. Please, if you go to any filling station, maybe the one or two that have bought this product to sell, and you're not satisfied with their dispensing, what I will advise you now, because I'm not omnipresent, but our association frowns seriously at tampering with your dispensing system. That is why we work in partnership with Weight and Measure to make sure that this system, dispensing systems are properly regulated. But some persons who are dispensing these products, they are not members of PETROAN. Where membership of PETROAN is cut across about 85% of retailers. And the one or two that are not members are not risking any penalty. Some of them, because for you to be
But
a
then
member
we have the DPRA.
yes, for you, to be,
What's the DPRA
for you to be
doing?
a member of Petron, you must have your DPR license. Because if you do otherwise, DPR will withdraw your license. But some of them, in this circumstance now, that are selling, are not members of any of these things, and they're able to have one or two of these products in their place. They have no fear for anything.
So nobody can regulate them?
Yes, and the best you can do is maybe you shut them down. And we are not to be present. And that is why our association, we have our ease of doing business text. And if you find out this kind of thing, you call us. So Chima, we really agree with you that you have the right to get angry if you get to situations like this. But withdraw your patronage from that particular station. And when situations normalize, they will look for you to come and buy. And that is where they will suffer. So filling stations and retail outlet owners in Rivers State are encouraged to buy and sell at the price for which they have seen it, but they should dispense the appropriate quantity to our people.
All right, Temple from Rumomasi. I think you'd be our last caller for the Morning Crossfire. Nigeria Info, good morning.
Good morning, the very distinguished Ifemi Andrew.
I go on to
your guest.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning, sir. Compliment of the season and a happy fuel scarcity.
It's so funny to wish.
The very distinguished Ifemi Andrew, to your guest. Sir, is there nothing the president can do on this regard as the Minister of Petroleum? That is number one. Then, on this same issue of meter adjustment, if you look at some of the free stations, as you have rightly said, this adjustment of meter, is it not a criminal offense?
It
because
is.
if they tell me that they are buying at a high cost, then at the end of the day, you made the people to buy at a certain price. Still, we cannot get value for what we are buying for. Is it not also stealing from the people? Then the last one, as a president at this point in time, is it not also better the president comes up and address us? Because we cannot continue to pretend that all is well, while all is not well. And you as a people, sir, as a group, you guys should also try and help us. If it amounts to giving us numbers, so some of them that are part of your association, it is horrible that you go to a free station, you pay for a 5 liter, and the 5 liter you bought, even as at when you're handling 5 liter gallon, you cannot even get up to 2 liter. Sir,
We frown at that, my brother. We frown at that. We condemn it.
Thank you, Temple. Well, the problem now is if we're going to even pay for 400, 500
People should be
a
given
litre,
value.
let's get what
Yes.
we are paying for.
We call it, in fact, let's use this opportunity to strengthen members of Petron in Rivers State. Those of you that are not able to buy this product, no problem. Those of you that are able to buy it and to sell, please ensure that your dispensers are put at normal and dispense to Rivers people the right quantity. If not, you will suffer. When the situation normalizes, all the persons who bought from you and your dispenser was not dispensing rightly to them, they will not come back to you. You will be the one to lose.
All right, thank you very much, Francis Dimkpa. This message on WhatsApp says filling stations dispense petrol with 2 or 3 pumps out of many. That's why they're accused. There's fuel. Don't mind our people. We have our own problem.
It's
Tony
not true.
from Port
That's why
Harcourt.
we are here to explain. People should be properly informed. It's not true.
Okay, thank you, Francis Dimkpa, for your time.
Thank you very much. Rivers people, I wish you Merry Christmas in arrears and Happy New Year in advance. Please, we have resolved to get this product for you. Buy it.
Hello, Port Harcourt is next. Stay tuned.